Hello guys, welcome to my channel TechNerd. Today I am going to share my experience with a gaming phone which I have purchased around 1 month ago. This phone is called a flagship killer phone, and in 30k budget range this phone is quite popular. So let's start. So guys, I think you guessed which phone I'm going to talk about. Yes, and this phone name is Redmi K50i. So guys, in this 30k price range, Redmi K50i is a quite good phone for casual gamers and heavy gamers. So guys, I'm going to share my 1 month experience with this phone. First of all, I'm going to talk about the display part. This phone has 6.6 inch Full HD plus FFS display, which is not an AMOLED display and not a IPS display, but it's the display quality of this phone is quite good, and the viewing angle of this display is quite satisfactory. But if it have Super AMOLED display, then it could be more good. Then I'm going to talk about the build quality of this phone. This phone is made of polycarbonate plastic material, and the backside is quite a glossy finish, and if light reflects on this phone's back part, and then this phone is going to change its color. So this looks pretty good, and this phone have Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection, and also this phone have 144 Hz refresh rate, and you can change this refresh rate manually from 60 Hz to 144 Hz, and this phone has 270 Hz touch sampling rate. And rather it's a gaming phone in this budget. Many phones have 360 Hz touch sampling refresh rate, but this refresh rate is quite good, but not good like other phones who have 360 Hz touch sampling refresh rate. The build quality of this phone is pretty good. This phone have a dual speaker, which is a stereo speaker, and the sound quality of this speaker is quite good and loud. But if it raise over 90%, then the sound is not pretty good on this range. But if you volume up to 90%, then the sound quality is pretty good. At bottom this phone have primary noise cancellation mic, and at top it has secondary noise cancellation mic, and of course it has an infrared port and a 3.5 mm headphone jack, which is quite extinct nowadays from every smartphone. So this is pretty good for this smartphone. Then I'm going to talk about the battery performance of this phone. This phone have 5080 milliampere battery, and it has 67 watt fast charger, and it can charge your phone around 1 hour. But during charging time, this phone gets quite hot, that which is not pretty good. I think in future update it will be fixed. And the battery performance is pretty good from this phone. The battery backup is also good, and you can use this phone around 2 days if you are a casual user, and if you are a heavy user, you can back up from this phone around 1 day, and in last portion of the day you have to charge your phone. That is pretty good battery performance from this phone. So guys, next I'm going to talk about the performance of this phone. This phone have MediaTek Dimensity 8100 processor, which is based on 5 nanometer. Phone's onto the benchmark is 8 lakh, which is pretty good, and this phone performance is quite similar to Snapdragon 870 and Snapdragon 888 processor. And I have played many games on this phone. In PUBG you can play smooth 90 fps, and it's a pretty good fps for this game. You will get around 90 fps on a PUBG on this phone, and you can play many games quite smoothly on this phone, but previously I have said that this phone have 270 Hz touch sampling refresh rate. So if it has a 360 Hz touch sampling refresh rate or more, then it will be pretty good for gaming. So if you are a casual gamer, this phone is pretty good. For if you are a heavy gamer and you want to play competitive games with this phone, then this phone is maybe not for you. You can choose other phones on this price range which have 870 or 888 processor, because we know Snapdragon processors are more good for gaming. And storage, and this phone have I have 826 GB variant, and this phone the storage have LPDDR, and this phone have LPDDR5 RAM, and storage speed test of this phone is pretty good. And the CPU throttle test of this phone is also pretty good, but after 12 minutes it throttled, and you can see that there is a red portion after 12 minutes, and this phone gets very hot in this time, which is around 47 degrees Celsius, which is not pretty good thing for me. So you can keep in mind that when this phone gets hot, then the performance will be dropped and it will be throttled. The next part is the camera quality of this phone. Rather, this phone is a gaming phone, but the rear camera have 64 megapixel Samsung bright S5 KZ W2 sensor, and this phone rear camera quality is pretty good, and it have also 8 megapixel ultra wide camera and 2 megapixel macro sensor camera, and the rear camera quality is pretty good on this phone. You can see some camera samples of rear camera, and the front camera have 16 megapixel camera, which is not pretty good for me. I have taken many shots on rear front camera. You can see sometimes it captures some reddish pictures. So in my opinion, rear camera is pretty good, but front camera is not that much good what I expected. What is the connectivity? This phone have latest Bluetooth version 5.3, Wi-Fi 6 dual band support, and also it have 5G support. The call quality of this phone is pretty good. There are no problem with call quality or with Wi-Fi or connectivity. So that's all guys, it's my 1 month experience with this phone. So who will buy this phone? If you are a casual gamer and you play sometimes on this phone, if you are a casual photographer, then you can buy this phone.